There are no sirens when hell decides to swallow paradise. In 1905, a quiet American desert was violently drowned, not by the uncontrollable fury of nature, but by a signature on a piece of paper. What you are witnessing is the direct result of the cheapest and most lethal engineering shortcut in corporate history. A blunder born of pure greed, one that transformed a barren wasteland into a raging sea and unleashed a billion-dollar catastrophe. This is the story of how a single company chased pennies and ended up drowning a desert. At the dawn of the 20th century, the American West was a goldmine for those willing to take risks. A group of wealthy investors formed the California Development Company, looking at the dry, desolate Colorado desert not as a wasteland, but as a future agricultural empire. Their promise was bold: divert the mighty Colorado River to irrigate the desert and create the fertile Imperial Valley. But ambition is expensive, and these executives wanted maximum profit with minimal investment. To save money, they made a fatal decision. Instead of building proper headgates of steel and concrete to control the river's flow, they chose a dangerously cheap shortcut. They simply ordered a massive ditch to be carved directly into the riverbank. Local engineers warned them. They warned that silt would build up, that the river was unpredictable, and that spring floods would overwhelm their crude, unreinforced trench. But the warnings were ignored. The executives in their comfortable offices deemed safety measures too costly. They gambled the lives of thousands on a cheap dirt trench, confident that nature would simply follow their budget. Nature, however, does not negotiate. In the winter of 1905, heavy rains battered the region, and the Colorado River surged with terrifying power. It didn't just flow into the cheap diversion trench, it ripped it apart. The riverbanks collapsed. What started as a small, cost-saving canal was violently torn open, growing from a 50-foot gap to a monstrous breach over a mile wide. The entire flow of the massive Colorado River abandoned its path to the ocean, violently changing course and pouring directly into the dry desert basin. The result was a catastrophic desert tsunami. A relentless, churning wall of muddy water swept across the Imperial Valley. It swallowed entire towns, obliterated the newly laid tracks of the Southern Pacific Railroad, and drowned thousands of acres of crops. Workers and townsfolk could do nothing but watch as their world was erased. The California Development Company panicked, desperately throwing sandbags and brush into the roaring waters, a pathetic, amateurish effort that the river instantly vaporized. The executives had completely lost control. The desert was filling up, transforming into an unstoppable, raging inland sea. When the deafening roar of the flood finally faded, the silence that followed was heavy with devastation. The cheap corporate shortcut had birthed a monster, a massive, unnatural body of water in the middle of the desert, soon to be known as the Salton Sea. The bill for this arrogant mistake was astronomical. The California Development Company, facing mountains of lawsuits and the sheer impossibility of fixing what they broke, instantly declared bankruptcy. They took the profits and ran, leaving a ruined landscape behind. It ultimately took a monumental, multi-million-dollar intervention funded by the federal government and executed by the Southern Pacific Railroad to finally tame the river, dumping thousands of tons of rock continuously for days. The financial damages adjusted for today would cripple even modern conglomerates. Today, the Salton Sea remains a toxic, evaporating ghost lake. It sits under the blinding sun as a permanent, billion-dollar monument to the deadly cost of corporate greed.